So I have this practice where I reach out to people who stand out to me online, people who, I don't know, just something calls to me about them. And I do it because an old mentor once told me, meet people before you need them. And it's been a piece of advice that I have really taken to heart, really lived by. So that's why if I see somebody on so in social media land that I think is interesting, that I think has something, like we're connected in somehow, then I would reach out and usually jump on a call. Well, there's one woman who fits that bill. We connected. It seemed like we were um compatible, like we had great conversation. We seemed to be saying the same things. And one day we thought, wouldn't it be great to record these conversations and share them out? Like, so we made up a date, we set it all up, we were going to video, we were going to put some money in a pot and get them nicely edited and share our points of view. But on that day, when we actually got on the call, my God, it's like we were talking different languages. There was no resonance, there was no synergy. We just didn't seem to meet. We just didn't seem to, we weren't in harmony at all. And it was just so difficult to understand what was going on in the moment. But one of the things that I'm left, so one of the things that we talked about in the conversation was, I mean, she was saying, Dion, I just don't know what you're saying. I've just not heard you sound like this before. I don't know what it is that you're bringing to the table today. And after the call, when I'm thinking about what I am bringing to the table, or was bringing to the table, was this very poorly articulated conviction that I have that business should be like any other citizen and have responsibility, like moral and social responsibility for making things better, for making society work, for doing no harm, for being part of making things work well. That business, like any other citizen, has a responsibility for the well-being of society. Like, I think that was what I was trying to say, but very poorly. I didn't articulate it well. But when I think back to the call, I think back to one particular moment in the call when she, when I saw it on her face, almost utter contempt, like disgust, actually disgust. When she thought about it, she said, what are you saying? Are you saying that business needs to develop some kind of morality? And I thought about it and I said, yeah, I think so, yes. And she was horrified that we had been speaking all of this time. And like the story I tell myself about that situation is that she thought to herself, if I'd known this is what you think, I would never have entertained all those long ass conversations with you. If I'd have known this is what you thought, I would never have created a connection with you in the first place. Now, I don't know if that's what she was thinking, but that's a story I tell myself when I think about the horror on her face when she was with furrowed brow trying to work out what I was saying, and then realizing that I was saying something about business's responsibility, moral responsibility for society. Well, I got off that call, and honestly, I was frozen. I was numb, and I was playing it over my mind, and I was really internalizing that look on her face that was disgusted with this suggestion that business needed to be different to the way that it's been, that business needs to take on responsibility for not just profit, but making things better, not just in-house, but in society, making things better in our world. But it's what I really believe. And I click record right now because I was just washing the dishes, as I am when these messages tend to come through. And I just remembered her face. I remember that horror. And and I was thinking about what that feels like to have somebody bulk like that at your conviction, your ideas, your professional point of view, your insights, your knowing. When somebody when somebody makes it so wrong because they don't agree with your point of view. And I was thinking, as I was washing up the dishes, just how um just how we would run a million miles in the other direction to avoid that look. That we will, as women with something to say, as influencers, as powerful leaders who are preparing to be more prominent in our space, this is a scary thought. This is a risk that some of us are not sure that we want to take. That people bulk and ridicule and reject and dismiss our ideas like they're just silly, or they don't matter, or they're just ludicrous. Yeah, ludicrous is the word that I've been really thinking about today. But that's the work, in this preparing to be prominent, preparing for prominence, preparing to show up powerfully, to preparing to be a more powerful leader, preparing to up our game requires work. And the work is really all about doing whatever needs to be done on the inside of us to handle the bulk and handle the dismissal, the rejection, the ridicule, the resistance, because it's definitely going to come. That as you develop ideas, I mean, that idea about business, I've later on discovered that it's a real thing, that there's a thing called corporate citizenship. And that really, as I read about corporate citizenship, I'm realizing that that's my idea. That's what's been born on the inside of me. But yet sharing it, this woman obviously hasn't heard of it because she didn't say, oh, that sounds like corporate citizenship. She just looked horrified. She just looked disgusted at the suggestion. And, you know, I think that's how it's going to be for us. Some of us who want to come up with different ideas, fresh approaches, new solutions, new ways of doing things for our most prolific problems, our big problems like inequality and injustice and inequity and illness and sickness and disease and all the isms, racism and sexism. For those of us who want to speak new ways of tackling this, for those of us who want to suggest new approaches for dealing with these big things, we've got to do the work of getting ready to be laughed at, to be rejected, to be dismissed or overlooked or shut up or silenced. We've got to do the work to decide that this is the work of our lives and we're committed to it regardless of what they think. That this is the work of our lives and we believe in it. We believe in it. We don't just believe, we know that this has value on the table, on the leadership, in the rooms where decisions are being made, where ideas for priorities are being set, and policy is being discussed, and the agenda is being set, and culture is being shaped. We know that our idea belongs in that space, and the work to be prominent in our space requires us to get ready for the naysayers, get ready for the resistance and all the things that come with rocking boats and going against the status quo. My name is Dion. And if you're watching this and you're a woman in senior leadership and you've got something to say and you feel called to speak truth, you don't hear anybody else speaking right now, my advice to you is this: Start doing the work. Start engage in community. Um, Curate your support network. And if you want to speak to me about how I can be part of that, then click the link that accompanies this video and let's talk. I'm Dion Johnson, and I look forward to hearing from you.